The strong, masculine, disciplined man is not the dangerous one. The true threat is the skinny-necked, estrogen-filled, weak outcast from society. He's the true danger. Think about it. The successful, disciplined, hardworking man are they going to be the one that, assaults people, rapes women, robs them? No, it's the unstable, fragile man who can't get what they want in any aspect of life, whether it be romantic or sexual, like monetarily, anything. So they take it from the people who have it or won't give it to them. The domestication of men is just creating a bigger issue, not just on the individual level, but on the societal level as well. People still think that, the man who goes to the gym and trains martial arts is the dangerous one. So they try to silence and eradicate us. So they post this propaganda about toxic masculinity and, misogynism. Like, yeah, there are misogynists out there. But just because a guy goes to the gym and he doesn't believe all the left-wing propaganda does not make him a misogynist or toxically masculine. It's bullshit, man. They're spreading all this. They're spreading it to make young men think that being a man is bad. Just think about it. Why else would they spread all this stuff? It's not to support women or any of this bullshit they're pushing on us. No, it's so that they can make the young men, the 11, 12-year-old impressionable boys, just see, oh, Andrew Tate, toxic masculinity. Oh, masculinity is toxic? Oh, it must be bad then. I've got to be more feminine, But it's one of the many things causing the feminization and domestication of men. Never mind the fluoride, estrogens, and chemicals they're pumping into the water, because they're minuscule compared to the psychogenic epidemic caused by the clear psychological warfare being waged on young men. It's disgusting. And also looking at it from like a relationship point of view. A woman say that they want like a sensitive, gentle, emotional man who's, in touch with his emotions and he's really nice and kind and he has a dad bod. But then they'll go to the club and they'll fuck the guy with the six-pack who doesn't give a shit about him. Just a general rule for life. Do what women want, not what they say they want. But let's get more into detail on why this is happening. There's 4 points. Let's go. Point 1 is female teachers. In 2021, the Teachers Association came out and said that 75.5% of teachers in the UK are women. So that's 24.5% of teachers are men. And obviously, there's 50-50. Like, there's 50 women to every 50 men. So, it's a bit skewed, but the first 13 years of a boy's life, they are raised by women for 6 hours a day. And the average amount of sleep a 13-year-old boy gets is 6 hours. So they're spending a quarter of their day, the same time they spend sleeping, surrounded by not just women. That's not an issue. That's how, that's how we should be. We should be raised by our mothers. But they're surrounded by female authority figures who rank higher than them in the hierarchical structure, which is extremely demeaning for a man to have so many women. Like, imagine, because obviously you need an ego. Like, everyone says, oh, you got such a big ego, bro. An ego is good. An ego is what pushes you to drive, and it makes you feel good about yourself. And it's what makes you assertive and confident. Imagine how crushed your ego would be if you go into if you're surrounded by women who are constantly ranked higher than you. Like, that would just crush your spirit and your drive, because there's not just so many people who are better than you, but there are people who, they're telling you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Anyway, point 2 is fatherlessness. This is a big one. Fatherlessness, the rates of it have nearly doubled since 1960, from about 17% to 32%. in 2022. Just imagine that. Me, you, and one of your friends. Just picture that. One of us is going to grow up without a father. Imagine that now on a mass scale. There's what? 7, 8 billion people on the planet? Call it 8. What? 2 point something billion young men growing up without a father. That is disgusting. The reason this is the biggest issue is because there's no male role model that they would know how to act masculine. Like, they learn to act like women because that's all they know. You know, if you know a psychological trick, it's called like mirroring. Basically, the way that someone acts towards you is the same way that you act towards them. And so imagine if you're being surrounded by women all day, and, you know, for 6 hours a day you're surrounded by women in school telling you what to do, so you act more, you know, passive and, you know, emotional, empathetic. I'll get onto that in a minute. And then you come home and you've got a single mum. I'm not saying being a single mum is bad, but for raising a child, you know, in a fatherless household, in that aspect, being a single mum is bad. And another reason the fatherless rates have shot up so much is because of the acceptability of being a single mum. You know, if you're a single mum back in the 50s, oh my God, you would get ridiculed, you would get fucking abused. You know, your parents would hate you. But nowadays, you know, it's normal. There's so many single mums out there. Also, the rates of divorce are so much higher. And, you know, it's the feminine promiscuity. It's like women going out and having one night stands. You wouldn't do that in the 50s, you know. Anyway, the third point is schools. And I hate this one. For boys to succeed in schools, because schools are quite a feminine, like, they have more of a matriarchy, schools are. I've come to realise researching this video. I think it's like 70% of head teachers are like female. It's mad. But anyway, for boys to succeed, they have to adopt more feminine traits that I mentioned earlier, you know, being emotional, more empathetic, be more passive. Like, imagine that kid in your school, he's probably a class clown, he was probably always making noise, you know, you might have thought he was a dickhead, but, you know, that guy, he would always get shouted at and told off and, you know, sent out, and, you know, he would always get told off by the head teacher. You know, he was actually more masculine than you. You were the little pussy sat at the back of the class, you know, sat there quietly. Oh yeah, I know this one, miss, I know this one. Do you really think that's how men are supposed to act? No. They punish, not just suppress, but they forbid and punish men acting like men and being young men. You know, play fighting, running, yelling, you know, just being a normal boy is being punished, you know. When I was in year 6, in primary school, we would always play Bulldogs Takedown, and, you know, Bulldogs Takedown, obviously, you know, it's like take them down to the ground. It can get quite rough, but they didn't really care because they didn't really know about it. You know, we kept it quite hush, and we would always go and play it around the back of the school on the grass until, like, one day, kid fell over and scraped his arm. Obviously, he went to the teacher because, you know, that's what you do when you're like, 10? You go to the teacher and you tell him what happened because raised by women, you know, if you get hurt, oh my God, you okay? You know, you panic. So this kid went and told the teacher, and she asked him what they were doing, and obviously he lied because we knew we weren't supposed to be, but then she pressured him, and he cracked, you know, as a 10-year-old would, with, you know, 45-year-old woman shouting at him. And yeah, we all got massive telling off, you know, I don't even know what the punishment. Basically, if you were caught playing Bulldogs, not even normal Bulldogs now, literally just tapping someone on the shoulder when you catch them. If you got caught playing Bulldogs, you were, you know, shouted at, taken to the head teacher. You had to sit in there for, like, the rest of the day. And, you know, it's just, bro, it's a game. Ridiculous. And point number 4 is, I touched on it briefly earlier, pretty sure. Yeah, fluoride and chemicals and that in the water. But I go into it in a lot of detail on my video called Supercharged Testosterone, and I'm not able to go into it into much detail in this video because it's a big topic, but I'll tell you the basics of what they are and what they do. Estrogenics are natural substances that can mimic or interfere with the effects of estrogen, which is a natural hormone in the body responsible for natural development of female characteristics like boobs. Obviously, women have boobs, but this is why you see men with you literally walk around. If you went I don't know where you live, but if you went downtown and you were walking around, bro, you would see men with literal boobs. How? And gynecomastia, it's basically that. It's when men develop tits. Bro, it's disgusting. Young men are literally developing like women. Higher body fat percentage means you have more estrogen. It's the in soy, literally every bread product, plastics, it's even in your water. They're pumping this chemical that's turning you into a woman in the water. And they're telling you, oh yeah, the water is safe to drink, yeah, it's okay, Bro. If, I know the next big thing I'm investing in is a water filter. Because I've been doing a lot of research on this recently, and you should too. You need a reverse osmosis water filter. Probably pick one up from what I've been looking at, 100, 150 quid. But it is disgusting if you actually look what they're putting in the water. And then the government will go out and say, oh yeah, our water is 100% clean and safe to drink. Jesus, man. It's so much worse in America though, because there was a lot of research on frogs being turned into hermaphrodites. Literally male frogs growing female reproductive organs. And it's what? I'm not too sure. I can't remember what that chemical is called. But yeah, they banned it in the EU. So everywhere in Europe. And thank God, man. Imagine that. That's why you see all I think this is very theoretical, but this could be why there's a lot more furries and freaks in America. Let's be honest, there's a lot more weird people in America than there are in anywhere else. My theory, but anyway. Yeah, the effect it has on the body are disrupt your endocrines, which is normal hormone regulation, testosterone. It messes with your leptin and your ghrelin, which is the hunger hormones. One causes hunger, one is hunger, sorry, and one suppresses that. So, insulin, it messes with all of that. It's disgusting. And it's also linked to fertility issues in men and women. So if a man has too high estrogen levels, then, he won't produce as much sperm. If a woman's estrogen levels are too high, I'm not really too sure what happens there. I haven't done much research into that, obviously, because I'm not a woman. Chances are you aren't either. But yeah, it just makes you so much less fertile. It basically deforms your sperm. It's foul. Your sperm, you know what sperm looks like? It has a head and a tail. Imagine your sperm with two heads. That's what's happening. It's also linked to hormone-related cancers, testicle cancer, also breast cancer. So too high levels, it can become a carcinogen, which is a substance that causes cancer. And if you're eating, consuming shit with a lot of carcinogens in, your rate might be a lot higher. You're smoking, you're absorbing a lot of estrogen from what you're eating, drinking, touching. Gotta be careful there. And also disruptions in regular bodily growth. So, a young man might not grow to his full height, His dick might still be fucking tiny by the time he's 16, 17, when he's, he's meant to be ready to have sex. That's when the human body is ready to reproduce and to pass on its seed. But, he's barely hit puberty because the estrogen's messing with his hormones. His testosterone levels are 20 nanograms per deciliter higher than when he was 12, you know. He can't grow a beard. But the amount of people I know with baby face, you know, they can't even grow one hair on their face. Like, mine don't look too big, but I literally shaved yesterday. Like, trimmed it down. But it's disgusting. You know, men are developing like women, man. Oh, and it's just domesticating them, you know? Men are developing like women, and they're turning more feminine. Anyway, I think that's all for today. Have a good day and a great week.